Hello folks, and welcome to yet another unstable episode of the Audiophile Man. And what have we got for you this time around? Well, we have something distinctly stable, in fact a stabilizer, although I would have issue, and I do have issue with the name of this thing. I don't think it's a stabilizer at all. It's actually from a UK company called Stack Audio. It's called the Serene, and if I was going to describe it, I'd probably describe it a damping puck, possibly, even though I'm sure there's a better name than that. Priced at £190, the puck is aimed at removing vibration and thus noise from your turntable and the record itself. Thing is, when you play a record, it and the turntable are full of vibration on a micro level. Vibration, to an extent, is obviously a good thing because music itself is full of it. Too much, though, is a problem. That excess vibration turns into microphony and then high-frequency noise, which then masks fine detail. Now there's lots of things you can do to get rid of this stuff, including isolation feet, platter mats, and more. One of the most ignored areas is the turntable clamp, or the stabilizer, or the puck. Different names for basically the same thing. All of these accessories sit over the top of the turntable's spindle, and they arrive in different flavors. Clamps tend to couple directly with the bearing to reduce vibration there. Stabilizers, on the other hand, tend to rely on their inherent weight to damp the platter and the record, but damping pucks do neither. They use built-in tech to remove unwanted vibration and noise. These little damping accessories are a new variant in the clamp stabilizer field. I only know of two of them, in fact, and Stack Audio's Serene is one of those. The Serene spans 77 by 25 millimeters and weighs in at just 85 grams. It's made from a light aluminium chassis with a kind of bouncy silicon piece fitted underneath. Once on the spindle, this silicon stretches and tightens to form, as Stack itself says, a kind of trampoline effect to enable a host of particles inside, and this thing is full of the stuff, to move around. These particles are made from rubber, and they form something called TAPA, T-A-P-A, or tension-activated particle absorption. The idea of all of this is that the vibration causes these particles to move and the particles collide. They then turn the friction into heat, which is sent out into the outer atmosphere. Thus, vibration is damped. The Serene works with rigid and suspended turntables, and even turntables that do not recommend stabilizers and clamps at all. Thing is that the Serene is a lightweight accessory, so it really doesn't put any strain on the bearing at all. Covered by the Stack Audio 60-day money-back guarantee, this little accessory has been designed and made in the UK, and the question is, how does it sound? How does it perform? Well, let's have a little listen. I began the sound tests with a copy of Elton John's 1972 LP release, Honky Chateau, and the track Honky Cat includes a whole host of bits and pieces, including electric and acoustic piano, trombone, trumpet, banjo, sax, percussion, and bass. Frankly, there's a lot going on in this song, and it's easy for any piece of hi-fi to trip over itself trying to sort it all out. As for the competing reference designs you'll be seeing in this video, why are they here and in this test at all? Because I love them all to bits, that's why. All are recommended, and if you fancy grabbing any of the products you see in this video, do so with my blessing. So, on with the test. And my first Serene test was, I suppose you can call it, with and without. That is, if you're not using any sort of clamp or stabilizer or anything else, what does merely adding a Stack Audio Serene do to the sound? So, just adding a Serene to your turntable, the effect is very odd indeed. The Serene introduces a sense of calm and order over the chaos. That was the thing though. Before I put the Serene on my turntable, I didn't even know I was listening to chaos. I thought everything was fine actually. I didn't know there was a problem. Adding the Serene changed that. I was no longer listening, apparently, to the very front of the vocals now, a bit like looking at a flat canvas. Now, with the Serene in place, the vocals stretched further back into 3D space. The brass section was better focused and precise. The piano structure was improved. Drums and bass guitar were tighter, while the banjo, and this was a thing, a notable instrument was the banjo no longer hid behind the piano on the right channel. Earlier, well, it was actually difficult to know there was a banjo on this track in the first place. With the Serene in place, the banjo revealed itself in all its complexity. Next up, the Serene versus the Michell Clamp, and that's about, what, £50? Rather cheaper, but even so, an interesting comparison. The Michell, fixing itself directly to the bearing, weighs around, what, 68 grams, give or take? And that did improve the overall sound, adding damping to both the upper and lower frequencies, giving the soundstage a general tidy up, I would say, adding focus to both, but in comparison to the more expensive Serene, the Michell sounded a little flat, a little bit lifeless. The Serene allowed controlled energy to flow, adding air and space into the mids and a sense of bounce and vitality around the bass. The overall presentation via the Serene featured more character, more animation to the song. Next up, the extraordinarily expensive HRS ADH at $550. Only have a dollar price for you this time around. Now, this is a rather massy accessory weighing in at 850 grams. Features a damping pad which is fitted underneath a heavy stainless steel mass. Sound from the ADH sounded disciplined, ordered, and corralled within an inch of its life. Noise was certainly reduced here, which is a good thing, but it never really sounded relaxed. Music never really flowed when compared to the Serene. The musicians didn't really sound like they were having a good time with the HRS, again compared to the Serene. It sounded like they were looking over their shoulder to a man with a gun pointing at them. That kind of tension. The Serene had a more open presentation, more information and detail was available to the ear because of this open presentation. Next up, another HRS Stabiliser, a lot lighter this time at 315 grams, a lot cheaper as well at $285. This is a kind of a polymer substance, again over a damping pad. So the so-called ADL-B is a lot lighter than the ADH, but there remains an inherent weight. The sound here via the ADL-B did sound relaxed and more expressive. Even so, as much as I still like the ADL-B, when compared directly to the Serene, the ADL-B compressed music just a touch. That is, the Serene allowed the tails of notes to drift further, while the ADL-B, well, it kind of cut them short, I suppose, because it was busy damping that note. So it kind of applied too much pressure to the note itself. The Serene, on the other hand, allowed the note to flow further and for longer, but still reduced the noise surrounding it. Next, we have the Soundeck damping puck for £75. Now, it's called a damping puck, but I would really class this as a stabiliser because, again, it's primarily made out of stainless steel and it's quite a weighty affair. The thing about the Soundeck model, which is a fairly new release by the company, it features a slice of sound-damped steel in amongst the actual chassis. And I'm sure you can just about see the fine line of sound-damped steel in this particular design. In performance terms, it acts very much like the company's own damping platter and feet, both of which I've reviewed on this channel, and I'll put links above and you can check those out. The result here is an excellent performance with a superb bass response, adding a tightness and focus that gives bass a real kick. Noise is also reduced on the upper frequencies. Compared to the admittedly much more expensive Serene though, I thought the Soundeck's upper frequencies were not as insightful. The Serene's upper mids reached further, delivered more information to the ear, and managed to deliver more subtleties to the ear. Even the soundstage seemed larger via the Serene. Next, I brought in a Gravity One from Origin Live, priced at £210 and weighing in at a mere 67 grams. To my mind, the Origin Live Gravity One is the only design here that immediately threatens the Stack Audio Serene, because its technology is, in very general terms, on the same path as the Serene, in that it is a damping puck whose priority is to remove vibration. The Gravity One is not a clamp, it's not a weighty stabiliser. Thus, I was fascinated to hear how they might compare. And good gracious, trying to find differences between these two units, it was a tough one, very difficult, because both are superb. Both are very close in terms of performance. The Gravity One does reduce more noise. It also produces a level of noise so low that the vocals tend to float within a bank of air. Saying that though, the Serene does offer slightly better imagery and structure to those vocals and to the music overall. You could say that the Gravity One describes the bass guitar and bass overall a little better, although the Serene is far from bad on this score. Then again, the instrumental separation was much better on the Serene. That banjo I mentioned earlier on, the one on the right channel, that could be better followed and recognized via the Serene. In contrast, the Gravity One sometimes lost the banjo in and around the piano noise. Then again, I think the Serene does offer more actual bass weight and better punch, which kind of makes sense with the improved imagery and the structure. In short, how do I describe the differences between these two? Well, I would say the Gravity One offers a lower noise performance, but the Serene, when it does low noise, does it more effectively. It maximizes those benefits to provide, arguably, a more satisfying performance. And that, my friends, is this rather convoluted review of the Stack Audio Serene damping puck. Let me give you some final thoughts, I'll do some pros and cons, and then I'll give you a rating. Using the same basic design theories as seen in Stack Audio's Orva range of anti-vibration products, and I've reviewed speaker feet and isolation feet, bits and pieces like that. I put links above, you can see the reviews yourself. This is the very first time that I've seen this technology type in a turntable stabilizer puck type of accessory. As such, what we have here is genuine innovation. And boy, does it work, and work well. It not only beats my other highly recommended stabilizers and clamps, but it successfully runs head-to-head with what I would call the market leader, the Origin Live Gravity One. Yes, there are pros and cons for both products, such is their close final performance, although I would say that the Stack Audio Serene, when it comes to the bottom line, is slightly better implemented in terms of that sonic performance. Because of that performance level and because of the design innovation, I have no choice but to award the Serene a very rare 10 out of 10, a golden groovy. Congratulations to Stack Audio. And that's your lot. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this particular review. Can you do me a favor before you go? Can you click on the like, and if you haven't done so already, the subscribe buttons just down there. It'll help this channel enormously. Also, there are links down yonder. I'll put some links to the Stack Audio Serene. Also, my own links are down there. My Facebook group link is there, and you're welcome to join that. Check out my website too. There's a link for that. And there's a link to my Patreon page, including all kinds of buyer's guide information. The exclusive hi-fi news, etc. videos are also there as well. All of them. Going back, God knows how long. There's lots of other videos out there too. Tour videos and music-related stuff. All kinds of stuff. Check it out. See what you think. I'll be back with another video, probably on Friday, a music alerts video. And then this time next week, another review. And I hope to have your company. Until then, folks. Bye-bye for now.